Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TradeBlade live stream for July 5th, 2026. We're at the Asian right now. And I got to the charts and we had already kind of broken down through this, and I kind of avoided an entry until here. Once it was clear to me that this seems like it's going to continue lower, I went ahead and placed in a trade. Let me show you what TradeBlade actually is and does. It's different from anything you've ever seen, and that's probably a good thing, because if you're a day trader, 95% of day traders lose money. So we can't solve this problem the usual way. And so what TradeBlade actually does, and I have stream on with TradeBlade. You don't have to obviously stream with TradeBlade, but what this will do is it will obfuscate my accounts. So instead of this being the normal name, if I click that right there, this would show my actual live cash accounts number and the eval number, which is probably less important, but so this hides, I'm still working on this, but we do have a trade copier. It doesn't hide it with that, so I'm not going to demonstrate the trade copier until that's fixed. Trade copier is beautiful, by the way. But essentially what we do is we trade prop firm evals, but it's really the opposite of what you would think. We're not trying to pass the evals. We're actually trying to fail them. And the reason why we're trying to fail them is because traders, and this is something I realized in my career, we lose a lot of evals. So why not have the money-making event be centered around the loss of the evals? And you're probably wondering, well, yeah, if you lose with the evals, that's great. But when you pass, you lose real money. You're hedging in the opposite direction, and if a prop firm is in profit, your hedge is in a loss, and that's true. That's true. So what we did was we had to come up with a long-term strategy to solve this, and this is how we've done it. Let me go ahead and set these to. I was trying this with a $70 fee before, and it's kind of saved that to its defaults, but let me set it back here. All of these sliders allow you to model whatever prop firm you're using. If you want to use a trailing drawdown, you can do that end of day, and we have two-step evals up to straight to funded. And these sliders allow you to set, the costs of everything. These sliders allow you to set the probability of passing evals, probability of reaching payouts, and so forth. So we're gonna take a look at exactly what happens between each scenario when you use TradeBlade. We'll check back with this once in a while here. Let's go ahead and set this. There we go. Okay. So as I had said before, this TradeBlade works differently than everything else you've ever seen. You may have heard of this. This isn't a new concept. I didn't invent this concept. What I did was I perfected the engineering and the execution of this approach. You can't even really call it a strategy. It's not even really a strategy. The reason it's not a strategy is that other than we do have one fully auto mode, but that's really not the purpose of TradeBlade. And in fact, you can't even get the full auto mode unless you buy the elite package. And I purposely set the elite package, almost out of reach. So expensive, it's almost out of reach. And I did that because we want you to use this the same way you normally trade. Okay, and we have two approaches for this. We have you can just hit buy or sell buttons. We can demonstrate that. Let me go ahead and add a new pair. And so when it says add pair, that's really what TradeBlade is. We don't take naked trades, naked hedges. We don't do that. We only trade pairs. We'll trade for example, a long on the eval and a short on the live cash account with the intent of winning on the live cash account. Okay? So, and you can use TradeBlade however you normally trade. If you want to trade just normal buys and sells, so let's 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. So if you want to just trade buys and sells, and here this is a config wizard. This makes it immensely easier to configure TradeBlade. So you start with your, we'll back up a little bit and explain this as we go. You pick your primary account, and that's your prop firm account. Okay, select prop firm account. We're going to use a sim account for this. Select your hedge account. So this is your live money account. Now, how much live money do you need to operate TradeBlade? That's one of the negatives. You do have to have 2 grand. You can have less. You can have like 1,620, I think is the minimum. But you should have a little bit of cushion. It's nice to have a little bit of cushion in there, but you can actually trade this with 1,600 bucks. 2K is preferred. But we set that the hedge account to our actual real money account, and so I have this is my real money account. But since TradeBlade has the streaming button on, it will hide that account number. But we're going to go ahead and use the sim account 15 for the hedge. These are the entry styles. We have manual trading levels, direct entry, and fully automated. I'll demonstrate 2 of the 3. Fully auto, I can demonstrate that too if you like. But direct entry is if I just want buy and sell buttons, then that's it. No levels. I'm just gonna sort of watch the price action and place orders in a discretionary fashion. One negative or weakness of TradeBlade is we must trade instruments where we're going to resolve most likely by the end of the session, because that changes the end of day drawdown ratcheting up on you, in between sessions. So we're going to NQ is the best for resolution quickly. MES is second, and MYM is third. All of these others, avoid them. Avoid them. They either have thin liquidity or they don't resolve quickly enough on a regular basis for you to actually use this with TradeBlade. Because remember, we're trying one day to pass, okay? And you can just skip through this. This is by default going to be whatever your time zone is. I'm in Central, so I have a Central time window defaults. If you're in the East, this will say 6 for you. If you're in London, this will say whatever, I think it's -6 hours. So it'll say 11 a.m., I think, or something here. I don't know. I don't even know. But this is all time zone agnostic. You can use this anywhere in the world. That's the point of it, to be able to build a business around trading prop firms that allows you to trade from anywhere in the world and travel and stay in Airbnbs if you want, rent apartments in Thailand or Georgia or Puerto Rico or wherever you want to. And you can use this anywhere, and there's no adjustments needed. This is a bit confusing, but we're going to go ahead and leave this as its current settings. I'm not happy with the risk asymmetry approach. Essentially, the original approach was, okay, how much does the user want to make today on their trade? $100. We do a 3-to-1 risk to reward, so we're risking 300 to make 100. However, this is not just random, like random decisions. What we're trying to engineer here or manipulate here is this prop account. We want the target to get us a funded account, and the risk to get us $100 profit on our hedge account. And this also represents the daily loss limit of a 50K Apex account. Okay, so that's why we do it this way. When you're using TradeBlade, we're doing 1-day passes only. That greatly increases the odds of you passing the eval. Why? Because it removes the end of day drawdown ratchet. So if your first trade wins 3K, you have a funded account. Yeah, you lost 300. We'll show you how to recover that capital later. You didn't really lose it. It's more like moving it from checking to savings. And you'll get it back or most of it back later. But this is how this works. And please, if you have any questions at all, let me know. I really don't know if I'm explaining this correctly or if it's understandable. You can set your prop contracts. In fact, these are set to 1 and 1. So your prop contract will be set to 1. Your hedge contracts will start at 1 and progress to 2 and then to 4 later on in the funded challenge. But since we're demonstrating an eval here, we're going to do a 1 and a 1. This is important to note. If you choose 2 prop contracts, it will still trade to these values. So if you use 2 prop contracts, it's not going to get 6,000. It's going to get 3,000, but it's going to be tighter. We made this so that you can, it's more important that you resolve the trade today. So if you want to trade other instruments like YM, ES, and you want to take on the additional live hedge commission, because if you use 2 here, there's 1 micro hedge per contract per prop contract that you trade. So it will be 2 hedges if you pick 2 here. See, micro contracts per mini traded. Okay, this isn't the total number. This is per mini traded. I want to make that very clear. Let's hit next. We have different drawdown types. We have intraday trailing and end of day. I use end of day. The account drawdown, this is your end of day drawdown. Set that total to its max or to whatever it is, 2K in the case of a 50K Apex funded account. And the max loss is your daily loss limit. Okay, just hit next and we'll confirm and deploy. Now, the pair card has some very, very useful things. This was built and conceived by a trader who knows what needs to be there and what doesn't need to be there. And I've put a ton into this without trying to make it too confusing. The first thing you'll notice is you have a beautiful, fully accurate rendered mini chart immediately with the previous day high and previous day low marked. The session boundaries are marked. Okay. This is Asian. This is sort of pre-market. And then you have London and et cetera. So this beautiful chart, you'll see this immediately and you'll be like, oh, that's cool. That's different. Yeah, there's a lot different about this. You can change your target and your loss right here with this little gear icon, edit TPSL. We have a trade copier. I'm not going to open that because I haven't obfuscated the accounts with the stream on yet. The reason is it opens a WPF window. It opens a window And so that has to be rendered. So that has to be done in logic. It can't be just, okay, change this string whenever you see this button on. So I haven't fixed that yet, and we'll be fixing that soon. So what the
Pairing
idea
card
is
armed.
here, let me do that. Okay, so what you're seeing here, we're going to go ahead and this is our live position right now. It almost, it came down within one tick and bounced right there. That's the way it goes. But let me show you how this works. Sorry for the uhs. I'm sort of new to public speaking, so I don't know really how to do it right. And I'm more of an engineer. I'm more of a, you know, statistician. I'm not a talker like that. I used to be back in the day. I you know, could do public speaking, but that's a skill that if you your brain has to think a certain way when you're doing these things, and mine isn't there yet. So hopefully I improve on that. But let's go ahead. We're gonna launch. You can launch charts from the pair cards. Now the chart is not just launched, it's launched with the correct account attached to it. So this will have sim account 14, which is correct. All right. So it'll give you the chart. It'll mark out the day, the previous day high, previous day low for you. So here's what we do. This clearly is going down. So let's continue with it going down, or assuming it's going down. So here's what we have to do. We don't just say, okay, we're going to sell, because we want this to win on our hedge account, which is going to be the opposite of whatever we select here for the prop. So if we want to lose the prop, we want to do the opposite of what the tape is showing us. Tape is showing us short. Let's go long on the prop, short on our live real money account, just like we did on our
Prop long filled on NQ. Hedge
Now,
short filled on MNQ. Fully hedged.
now there wasn't much of a delay there between the long and the short, but sometimes there is, and sometimes there's a danger of not filling that short on the hedge. So there are different entry modes. We're not going to get into this now, but right now, default, it's set to a market order on the prop account, and then once that's filled, a limit order is fired at that same exact price. Now, price has to then move through that line. You can't, in order to get filled, you can give up the commission. Sorry for the you can give up the commissions and ensure that you get an entry on both sides. And this is the smartest way to do it. I'm not very smart sometimes, so I want to try to save those 2 or 3 ticks. I've found that it's probably not really worth it. So I would just be careful about using the default market limit. In fact, I'll probably change this to making market the default. And if you want to take on additional risk of having a naked hedge, now my testing has shown that about 1 in 17, about 1 in 20, I've done 2 different tests. 1 in 17 was one of them, 1 in 20 was the other test. Of the time we get a naked fill. That's big enough to be a concern. So be careful about these entry modes, practice a lot. We have a couple of different ways you can enter. We have sort of a momentum. This is a momentum entry. When ticks are with the entry, it will fill that way. And when the ticks are against the entry, we fill that way. You can experiment with these, but I think I am going to make market the default. You do save by you know, having market and limit. And check out the the entries here. This is the one that we just did, and they're exactly the same price. Now that means you didn't eat any spread. That's pretty cool, but you do risk, once again, you do risk not getting filled on the hedge, which is a nightmare that you don't want to get involved in. You can many times when you have a hedge not fill, you'll see price immediately go into profit and never come back, and you would have captured all that profit on your hedge account, but you were never in the trade. You only got the $1,000 loss on the prop account, no $100 win on the hedge account. So that's how we do it with the direct entry mode. The other cool thing you can do this is you can kind of set it and forget it. I'll show you fully auto later, but this is not fully auto. But we'll go ahead and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so 16 and 17. So I'm setting the prop and the hedge accounts very quickly here. Our entry style, we're going to try manual trading levels. And this is really kind of cool because you can kind of set this and forget it. Okay. And how this works, we'll go ahead and next through these. These remember your selections. So if you have the same selections as the previous, you can just next through it. So now we're going to place some manual trading levels. And when price hits those manual trading levels, it will take a trade. Okay. We have it set to breakout, which means the prop account is going to fire a breakout once the level is crossed. Let's go ahead and place this on chart. This will bring up immediately your chart. This is really fast. And what we're going to do is we'll just move these levels to sensible spots. And what's going to happen, we're in breakout mode. Okay, we see breakout here. And the up arrow and down arrow means longs and shorts. And you can fix that so that you only take longs, you only take shorts. You can customize it that way. You also, if you press this button, it will now, the prop account will now take a mean reversion trade. So once it crosses, it'll short. It crosses the upper bound, it'll short. It crosses the lower bound, it'll long on the mean reversion. Breakout, it will, the prop account will continue on. If it's long, it'll go, if it crosses the upper bound, it'll go long. If it crosses the lower bound, it'll go short. Okay. We haven't confirmed the levels yet, so it's not going to fire. Let's confirm the levels, and we will arm it.
Pairing card armed.
We're going to set these to, just to demonstrate, market. Now, it touched this line. It's now waiting for a long to fill. It doesn't immediately fill. It waits for a decent price to fill. And so that's what it's wait.
Fully hedged. Prop
just
long filled on NQ. Hedge short filled on MNQ.
Wow. So that immediately filled both sides. And we'll see what kind of a difference we've got here. We've got, okay. So you can see we have about we have about 5 ticks. Now this is NQ, so it's 50 cents. So about 250, I guess. Yeah, $2.50 worth of commissions we're giving up to ensure we have a fill on both sides and no naked hedges. That's the safest way to use TradeBlade. All right. So that's it. That's how this works. And we see that price is rejected down here by 1 tick. And so this might be a concern for us. But here's the thing. This brings us here. So this is divided into 3 outcomes This, you can see this on the TradeBlade chart. This is, we'll get to home here. We'll get to the math page. We get to the math page. Set your eval cost and your activation to whatever it is you want to test. Let's go ahead and we'll switch this to NQ, MNQ. So here's your three scenarios. The most surprising thing about TradeBlade is this: you're going to pass at approximately 40%. You're trying to pass, that's a high pass rate to get to the funded challenge. That's a very high pass rate. You don't want a high pass rate, but there's nothing we can do about this except have edge. If you don't have edge, you're going to be hovering right around in this range of passing the eval. The reason is because of the barrier math involved, or what's called gambler's ruin equation. Don't be fooled by this. This is not magic or anything. But if you have a profit target of on the eval of $3,000 and an end of day drawdown of $2,000, if the end of day drawdown never ratchets up, we can calculate the percentage that we will hit this 3,000 barrier before we hit this 2,000 barrier. And the cool thing about this equation is it doesn't matter what path you take. You could be trading $500 profit targets, $500 stop losses, and take multiple trades to get there. It's not going to change the probabilities, except if the end of day drawdown ratchets up. To avoid that, we do a 1 to 2 day pass. You are going to pass an eval or fail it in 2 days or less. Okay? How it works is we set the profit target to 3,000 for the prop account. We do this so that if you win, you get a funded account straight away. You do lose $300 on the hedge. Right here, it's calculated when you pass the eval that $300 is accounted for there. And we're going to go through the numbers here. There's nobody that you have ever seen, or that I have anyway, that has actual mathematical computational expected value that's accurate and not based on a backtest. Backtests don't work. I've written hundreds and hundreds of strategies. I've seen, of those hundreds, thousands of backtests, trying to fine tune, trying to see, does this work? Does that work? Nothing works. Backtests are irrelevant. You have to treat the intraday price action as if it's random. It's essentially random anyway, so why not treat it as such? And that's what we tried to do here. These are all Monte Carlos. These are all derived from Monte Carlos. MC average, you see there, MC average. These are done with a random walk test. Okay, so here's how, let's get to the point of this whole thing is, let's see how this works out for us financially in a taking random entries, not random entries. These entries are not, well, actually the Monte Carlo on these are random entries. So random entries, and let's see how much money the thing makes. And you might say, yeah, 157 on a failed eval. I mean, that, I can't pay my bills with that. I hear you. I get it. Okay, stand by. Scenario 2. You pass the eval. You've laid $300 in hedge money. You've paid $40 for the eval, $100 for the funded fee, $140. So you're in for $440. Okay. However, and this is an average, on average, you make back about $377. You're taking 2 contracts and hedging up till the funded account gets $1,800. So when you lose $2K and blow the funded account, You get $400 of that 2K that you lost, you captured that in hedge money, in live capital. So you got back most, not all, can't be perfect. You got back most, not all of your expenses you laid out there. $87 on average it costs you. Now, the good news is when you win, you make 157, and you win at twice the rate that you lose. And the loss is half as much as the win. So this is a positive EV, and you can see the weighted EV here. So this is overall a positive EV. Scenario 3, we're laying out much more hedge. Remember, we're hedging the whole way. And on top of it, once we get to 1800, phase 2 begins. 1800 and beyond, we hedge with 4 contracts. That means a $2,000 blow will get us $800. And we have to do that to avoid the end of day ratchet that the funded account has embedded into it. There's a 2K end of day drawdown on this. We trade our first trade as an $1,800 winner or a $1,000 loss. If we hit that winner, we're halfway to the profit target. We want to get to $3,600 so that we can pull out the maximum payout of $1,500. If you want to see how that's derived, just let me know. It's very, very simple. It's based on the Apex rules. Okay? They require a buffer, and this includes the buffer, so you can get the 1,500. But notice the 1,500 really only breaks you even, essentially. Essentially, you're $96 down. Okay, but the next thing we have here is we have what I call the bonus round. And it's really just the second payout. So you get your first payout, now you're getting ready to do your second payout. Now, I call this the bonus round because when we hedge the bonus round with 4 contracts, again, you have a $2,000 end of day drawdown. We know that because it locks there on your buffer. And then you get paid above that buffer, but that end of day drawdown just stays there. So after you get your payout, you still have $2,000 of drawdown there. You hedge that with 4 contracts, you're going to make $800. If you get to the second payout, if you get to, sorry if there's a fan on the microphone, I can hear it, and I just moved the fan. But if you pass and get the second payout, then yes, you actually net about 900. So this is averaged out to about 860. This is all done with a Monte Carlo, so it's all random walk. This is without any edge. All the years that you have built an edge or are finding an edge, it either doesn't matter anymore or that edge will slightly help you. But what you see here is that no matter what, in a random walk, this math proves your expected value for each eval you go through is $148 that you win. Now you might say, yeah, but that's 100. This is on a 2K account before you start saying, oh, that's not much money. This is on a 2K account. Okay? This is wrong right here. This is 4 times 50. I don't know why it's like that, but we're going to fix that. So you need about 2K. You just made $150 on 2K of real money. So what does that represent? 150 on 2K is like 7.5% that you made in a 2-day period. If you failed the eval, if you went all the way, you just made 7% in like 3 weeks. That's still far better than you would do anywhere else. So I would love the questions. If you have questions for me, I would love to answer them. Um, I would love for you to try to break break this math. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I missed something. I have gone through this for weeks and months, and I haven't been able to break it. And I'm not trying to blow one by you, but $157 or $148 total represents about a 7% increase on your 2K capital. Can you see what happens when you get 4K capital, 6K capital, and you start rolling these through? The the money to be made breaks down like this. I was curious. How much on average with a 2K account will TradeBlade generate? Perfectly random walk. It will generate about 500 bucks per month with about a $500 standard deviation. So sometimes you're going to make 1,000, sometimes you're going to make zero, somewhere in between, but on average, you're going to come in with about a $500 every month. That's 25% of your 2K every month. And here's the kicker. We don't give the money back anymore. This is the biggest thing about TradeBlade. We do not give the money back. Right now, you're in a situation where even if you win money, the devil is at your doorstep, waiting for you to slip up. That's no longer with the case with TradeBlade, because in every scenario, you either have a near break even, yeah, you're down 87 bucks, but that's actually kind of high. I purposely made this look as ugly as I could. The cleanest way is to just fail in 2 trades and you lose $40. This takes into account that you might occasionally lose some of the ratchet, lose some of the the hedge, the hedge capture. You might lose some of the hedge capture because you got above 1,800, you got into the $2,000 area, and you didn't capture some of the hedge. Okay. In fact, I think this is a little brutal. I think the more reality of it is, you're down about $4 because you're down 300 here, 140 on your fees. It's 440, 443, and then you actually you collect 400 on a clean failure, so you lose about 43 bucks. But we won't quibble over $40. It's not important. This is not the most common outcome. As you know, it's difficult to pass evals. Not with TradeBlade, it's not. You'll be surprised. I was shocked. I was shocked. Okay. And then we have scenario 3 again with the payout and the bonus round. The big the big hidden secret of this whole thing is the variance reduction. Your variance will be dramatically lower because of this. And yeah, you do lay out, of your $2,000 account, you're laying out 1,000 plus 300, that's 1,300, almost 1,400 bucks of your 2K. And you might think, yeah, well, that's variance. True. If you don't get the payout, it is variance. So I pick Apex simply because, I want an honest prop firm. I want a prop firm that has a reputation for paying out unless you are, you know, doing some kind of scam against them. And you might think, well, this is a scam against Apex. It's not, because I don't want to pass a single one of these. I want to fail every single eval. Why? Okay. For one thing, the biggest weighted EV is here in the failed eval, and this only takes 2 days. Once I pass, I have to make it through this gauntlet, which I can fail this at, okay, so this is the probability of this occurring. So 29% of the time, this scenario will occur, and 10% of the time, this scenario will occur where we will get the payout. But I'm trying to avoid the payouts at all costs. Why? The reason is this right here. Takes 13.6 trades on average to get through. The first P1 is the first 1800, P2 is the second 1800. We have to divide those up because we need to run 2 contracts during phase 1. P2, phase 2 is 4 contracts. We have to divide them up. It's not to purposely make this more confusing, but to make this accurate. And then the bonus round, there's going to be 3 weeks of trading here. Once you get your payouts, you're waiting another week or two. 5 weeks is easily what can happen here. And in those 5 weeks, you only made $740, 79.91 expected value, weighted EV, over 5 weeks. This is made in 2 days, $94 weighted EV. This is made in 5 weeks. So you can repeat this 12 times to the tune of over almost $2,000. And this is only $740. This is almost 3 times more money. We do not want to pass these. So when people say, yeah, but you're running a scam against prop firms, absolutely not. Our goals are completely in line. I would love to fail every single eval. Apex makes their money, I make my money, everyone's happy. Occasionally, you're not going to be able to stop this, even with Edge, and you can steer this so that you don't get to the payout. You get to the payout as least often as possible. Even if you have enough edge to accomplish that, you're still going to get to a payout eventually. And we just try to get through this as fast as possible, stay patient, get through it, and move on to failing more evals. We want to be a prop firm's best customer. People who use TradeBlade are not trying to scam the prop firm. We're simply trying to align our objectives with the prop firm and be their best customer. Okay? Let me show you one more thing before I go. This is I don't know if this is our actual live fill yet. Okay, so that's not us. This is our live. Okay, so, I mean, it sucks that we were one tick away and then it pulled back like that. That sucks, but that's a part of what happens. And TradeBlade you have to respect the consistency and the discipline that TradeBlade offers. We never move our stops or targets with TradeBlade. Never. Okay? And sometimes this is going to be a scenario. And we just have to suck it up and live with it. Because we don't know where price is. We're assuming we don't know where price is going. And we're just going to take whatever price gives us and try to structure the trading around a system that is profitable no matter what. This is revolutionary, guys. This is something you've never seen before. You may have heard of something similar to this, but you've never actually seen something like this running and working. There's a lot of edge case handling. There's a lot of error handling, logic involved in this, and that's why there's 250,000 lines of code. There'd be only a tenth of that if it was all happy path. But we have a hostile environment. We have NinjaTrader, which is a notoriously known as a hostile environment for rendering even lines like these. It's not easy, and I think you're going to love it. I hope you do. I hope you see this as like, wow, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Is this going to get you a multi-millions of dollars? Not quickly. It's not quickly. If you build up your account, but if you build up your live funded or your live accounts so that you can run multiple hedges, multiple trades, this can be a very good living for you. This at least, and would you rather believe the pie in the sky? I'm going to be the one in a million that gets $1 million prop firm payout, and I have to go through 10 years of hell till I figure it out? Or would you rather buy TradeBlade? It's a subscription model, so you subscribe to TradeBlade. It's subscription so that I can continue to provide and pay for updates and make this the best thing you've ever spent a penny on in terms of your future. Better than your college degree. You spend your money on this, you're going to have a better chance of making a decent living. Okay? Obviously, nothing is guaranteed. Trading is risky. You can, and many do, lose all their capital. I've done it many times. So this is no joke. I take this very seriously. I trade with this. So I'm going to show you the last thing, which is fully automatic. This is only available with the Elite plan. I don't plan on selling many of these. I don't want to sell many of these. And the reason is that this product has a potential of being massive because it's the only game in town. It's the only solution that doesn't require a decade of experience. It's the only solution that doesn't blame you when something goes wrong. You go with other gurus, you go with other systems. Oh, you didn't make it. Oh, your discipline wasn't good. Your psychology wasn't good. All of this stuff to blame it on you. This is the only actual system that doesn't blame it on you. Can you make mistakes with this? Yes, and I have. And are you going to make mistakes? While you're learning this, you are. You are. I've tried to set this up so it protects you, but you are going to make little mistakes here and there. It doesn't even matter. Why? Because the numbers cannot be faked. These numbers cannot be faked. This is saying to you, I am a casino and I have a house edge. And that house edge is going to play out the more trials I have. Let's go ahead and, before I go, let's go ahead and do the fully automatic Elite plan. So we'll next here. For the fully automated Elite plan, we, and this will reflect, this number will reflect what time zone you're in. I'm in Central, so we don't trade the fully auto 1 hour, 1 hour, until 1 hour has elapsed from the start of the trading session. So my trading session starts at 5 Central. So the fully auto won't take a trade until 6. The reason is because a lot of times those early moves that they get ugly. So we avoid that. We also avoid taking trades where we don't have a lot of time left to resolve them. So we stop trading it at 1 Central, which whatever time zone you're in, it's about 2 hours prior to the market, the real market closing. There is another hour after that price typically doesn't move much. So we also do a hard exit right at the beginning of the Globex, end of the New York session. Mine ends at 3:15. Okay, next thing, we're going to go ahead and just next through this and confirm and deploy. So this will bring up this configuration. This is going to run a back test. The first time you run this, it's going to take up to 10 minutes, depending on how good your memory is. Once it does run first, it will take all the cached the bars that it found the first time you run it. It will cache those bars and use them and fill in any blanks that you may have. Typically, obviously, the most recent bars won't be had in that cache, so it will go get those and include them. Since I've run this before on my machine, you can see it loads 15 million bars, 16 million. These are all 1 second bars, 365 days of data. These are all 1 second bars. And it loads this in less than a minute. It's going to sanitize the data. And then it's going to show you. So what it runs, my analyzer is different from everything else. It actually models eval cycles rather than did I win, did I lose, blah, blah, blah. It actually records how many evals passed, how many evals were attempted, the pass rate. It will give you the funded payout rate. These are very, very high numbers, these payout rates. And the reason is these are very low, okay? So normalizing these will tend to approach about 28%. You see some of them, like RTY or the Russell, it's about 29.4. This is really, 53%. 26 is a very small sample size, so we got a little lucky on some of these back tests. We're not counting on any of this, by the way. It's just showing you what to expect. And the NQ always does the best. Always. Every single test I've ever done, you can just run this on NQ if you want. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to run it on RTY. Oh, I have to run it one more time because it still said deploy all 4 instruments. We're just going to hit it one more time. It takes less than a minute. We'll get this data without RTY. Way more money. Running all 3 of these is really profitable. Now this is designed to be run consecutively, not concurrently. So it's not like, oh, we took a trade on ES and NQ on the same day. No, this is 1 trade per day, 365 days. NQ has 404 trades. Okay, so there are certain cases where it will trade twice, but they're rare, and it doesn't really change anything because you're just as likely to lose those trades as win them. So this is really, so now deploy all 3 instruments.
Pairing card armed.
Pairing card is armed. Thank you, Carol. All right. So that's basically how it works. And so here's the pair card with the 3 instruments. We have ES. We can see the previous day high and low. And how does this thing trade? It will not take a trade unless it crosses a previous day high, previous day low. And there's one more little constraint. It doesn't show this here yet until after it crosses. There's a second constraint. But you see there's 2. These numbers mean there's 2 conditions. And this is broken up into Asia, London, and New York. All right. So anyway, this is TradeBlade. There's a lot to know, but it's worth it. It's worth it because this is the only system, the only one I know of, where your skill and talent doesn't need 10 years of maturity in order to make it work. This system never blames you for having poor discipline or poor psychology or whatever is masking the truth, which, and the truth is, prices are essentially random. If it's within 3 months of data, you can't distinguish that from random noise. I think it was a 2019 study that proved this. If it's past 3 months, yes, you can start seeing signs of trend and mean reversion and so forth. But inside 3 months, and certainly a day trader is inside of that, All of this is essentially random, and we treat it as such. All right. So we'll bring this live cash account up, see what's happening. This doesn't look good for us, but it doesn't have to, because I'm going to recover the capital either way or most of it. All right. And who knows? This may be a gigantic pullback into a further push down. I don't see any real reason it should have bounced there, other than if there's too many sellers, buyers come in, buy it up, because the seller, if everyone's sold already, put it that way, that's the proper way. If everyone's already sold into this, there's not many sellers left, the buyers can take over, but we don't know. This looks like a V-shaped recovery. We could hit this. I get a funded account if it hits this. I have recovery pass if it hits this. I don't really give any money back. It's really something. And who knows, this may come back on down here and hit this, but you know, it's sort of sucks that it went within one tick of the target here. And see the MNQ version. This is the live money hedge. Oh, so this was not even close. 718.50. Is that oh, I picked the wrong one. So let's MNQ chart. Oh no, this is 732.50. Yeah. 732.50. This is MNQ. This is NQ. Okay, so these are our two trades. Sorry. These are our two trades. Yeah, so this is the MNQ trade. It did also come within one tick of our buy limit. But why am I not concerned? Why am I not pissed? Because my experience is that it's random anyway. I do try to take careful trades, and I do try to, I try to implement some sort of edge that I think I might have by trade selection. But you can't prove that I know what I'm doing mathematically. I'd have to have hundreds of trials of showing that edge in order to prove it has a 95% confidence that it's real. I'd have to have hundreds of trials, 300 or 400, to show a few points of edge. So it's not even provable. So why not just treat it all as random? Don't get upset. You can't. This is like a coin flip, essentially. But we structure the trading in a way that makes money. Makes money for the prop firm. Prop firms are going to love us. Prop firms are going to love us because we're their best customer. We would love to buy 20 evals and fail every one of them in 2 days and then buy 20 more. So everyone can make money. So anyway, I'll leave it there with you. Please let me know if there's anything that you need. Please go ahead and take a look at TradeBlade. If you've stayed around for this, I was going to call it a podcast, but this live stream, you're certainly interested. Follow through, learn what TradeBlade is, communicate with me, and let's get your trading, turn it from a hobby into a business. A hobby that takes years of mastery into a business you can start making money immediately. Again, this is not a promise of wealth. You can, and many do, lose everything. Okay, this is why I take this stuff very seriously. This is why there's tens of thousands of lines of code in this. I could set up a cheesy, here's two strategies. One will handle your prop account, one will handle your life. I could have done all of that. I could have made this without a beautiful command center that already has the mobile scaffolding so that these pair cards can be brought up and viewed on your phone and controlled from your phone. Okay, these are the plans I have for TradeBlade. I'm using this for the rest of my life. Okay, so I get a little obstinate because honestly, I get upset with. It's not that I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I just don't think they truly understand a lot of these gurus that price is essentially random, and it does take a decade or more to master that randomness and still be able to make money. And they don't tell you that up front. You can still make the money, still put in the 10 years, and maybe you don't use TradeBlade anymore. That would be foolish, but maybe you're like, oh, I don't need it anymore. Um, I can treat this random market as if it's not random now that I have 10 years. I would, I wouldn't recommend, I wouldn't recommend that. I would treat it as random and have a trading system that actually makes that profitable. Anyway, hey, thank you so much. God bless you. I appreciate your time. I'm going to, I was hoping that this hedge account would resolve quicker. I like having them resolve within the stream. It looks like it's coming back. It looks like the sellers are back. Um, but I'll let you go here. Thank you so much. One more time. Go to TradeBlade, for more information. My contact information is on YouTube, and you can request a book from me, and potentially we're going to be closing alpha soon, but there are still spots if you want to try this for free and just see how it works, work with it. I highly recommend that you hit the website, okay? Especially during alpha, I'm going to be much more hands-on and much more accessible before a bunch of people start buying this product. I'm a one-man show, so right now is if you ran across this video right now is the best time to get involved. Don't put it off. You know some of this resonated with you. You know some of this was like, yeah, you know what? It does feel random. He's probably right about that. But blah, blah, blah. I've heard this, I've heard that, my experience, this and that. Dude, I'm just talking about numbers. You can take it or leave it. But I'm here with you. I did this for us, for me primarily, and for you. And I'd love to see you use it. Nothing would make me more proud and more happy than to see you make money with this. And I'm here to help. So thank you so much one more time. And I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Take care. I may be on later on if there's another trade that comes up. So anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much.